This is history. Welcome to it, the first ever episode of Between Two Fountains. I'm Mick Shaffer. He's Greg Gurley. This is your baby, Greg. This is the birth date of your baby.
I'm the
doctor, I'm the mom, I don't know, but I'm involved somehow. I got my hands deep in there.
Kind of an idea guy, and I'm not as good at execution as we've learned. Where you and I talked about this for 6 months, and
not good with math either because it's been about 9 months. Oh, going with the baby theme here.
Yeah,
get this thing full term, 40 weeks, and here we are starting this thing. Hopefully the baby survives. Hopefully the baby lives.
I couldn't even get the
We're going to try to do this every week for you and send it out. We're going to be talking about what? Kansas City sports. It's Between Two Fountains. Fountains, Kansas City, Between Two Ferns, like the only, podcast we've ever known. So we are ripping off two ideas.
With the Kansas City flair, obviously, and the amount of names that we didn't choose was crazy. You and I had a fantastic time through Twitter, or we had the Twitter contest or whatever, then you and I on our text messages.
Yeah.
And at some point we should maybe list some of the most ridiculous ideas. Typically they came from me, but you had some doozies as well. But
75% of them were like NC-17.
Oh, I don't know. You could probably, worse than that probably.
What's
Sure.
worse than NC-17? That's worse than R.
Oh, well, in there
TMA?
like X? I was thinking like X.
Okay. There was a couple. Triple X. That's right. Yeah, there were a couple of those.
So, but we've had a lot of fun doing it. We're excited to get going, and I think the idea is just to have fun, talk Kansas City.
Yeah,
I've done some in the past. It's just been one thing. Obviously, I'm affiliated with KU, but I'm a Kansas Cityan and Chiefs, Royals, Sporting, everything, and restaurants, bars. Obviously, I frequent some of those, as does Mick, and I think from just our weekly life, you're obviously in the media in a big time way, meet a lot of people. So do I. I think our guests, even though our first show here, we don't have a guest. We've been as the executive producer, I've been trying to locate one of the most famous Kansas Cityans, Trent Green, who had an amazing run as an Indiana Hoosier student athlete. Now, as an alum, I don't know how he could be any higher right now because of what happened in the national championship game and the run that they made. And I got to spend some time with Trent last week. He came to the Baylor game in Lawrence, and we had a blast. And we talked about what was coming up for him and going to Miami, and I encouraged him to be more demonstrative on the sideline. I said, Trent, Michael Irving, Ray Lewis, all these guys are going to be there. Michael Irving's I go, why don't you take your belt off and whip a jersey, a Miami jersey or something?
Yeah.
Be different. But as you know, Trent, and I know Trent, he's very, polite and wouldn't do that. He wasn't
down on all fours on the sidelines all night last night?
No, I didn't even see him on the camera because that's the way he is. But so happy for him. I love that it's not just a typical national championship, SEC, Big Ten. It was Miami and Indiana.
Right. Yeah. I know Trent Green, and I think one of the Kaufman boys played for Indiana. That's it. Those are the only Indiana football alums I think I've ever heard of before these last 2 years.
Well, the one name that you'll now remember, Antoine Randall,
yes,
was a really good player. And then looked up, they had a really good running back playing. I think it's Anthony Thompson or Johnson. He
played the tops of three.
I know, and I had to Google it, like I had to Google Signetti. But,
Signetti. Did it say I win games and you Googled him?
No, just I win. But you talk about the quick turn where they were awful. They were, one of the worst programs in the country. And for them to do this, the media has been talking a lot about what's more impressive, Signetti or Bill Snyder, what he did. I don't know if you can really, obviously you can compare the two, but it's just such a different environment of the transfer portal and money and the ability to, Bill Snyder didn't have that. You had to get guys, park them on the bench, redshirt them, hope by their junior year, they're like, all right, ready to go. Now you can just figure it out like in a week.
Yeah, just call up the player's agent, right? Throw out a number. Indiana's got a ton of alumni. You can call somebody, they'll write a check, and you can get guys in. And I think that's been obviously a huge part of it. I think Kansas State in the 1980s was worse than Indiana 10 years ago. So the floor was lower for K-State, but obviously the ceiling's been higher. You have Indiana winning a national championship, but the biggest factor there is obviously pay for play and NIL and the different landscape of college football. And look, I think it's age too. These guys are their average age is 23 of the starters for Indiana. I think I saw the Giants' average age is 25. Especially in college, maybe in the NFL, 29. There's no difference between 29 and 25, and often 25 is better. But you see it all the time. There's a huge difference between 23 and 19 in college football and basketball.
Yeah, and I got to be careful in the fact that it's just easy in this day and age. It's not easy. So many things have to hit. Obviously, you got to have a quarterback. I think Texas Tech proved that they were able to, within the system, build a championship caliber team. I still think they had that championship caliber quarterback. And Mendoza was a reach, but he turned out to be, they hit on him. He wins the Heisman, wins the national championship, probably going to be the first pick in the draft. It's just a crazy situation there, but it's not just as easy as okay, we'll just go buy a team and win a national title. Ohio State could have done it too. Alabama could have done it too. They all could do it, but whatever their process was at Indiana, they recognized the right guys. And you brought up the best point.
I know.
Age. It's one thing to get, let's say Underwood at Michigan, it was a true freshman. He still has some time to figure things out. Mendoza's been around. Carson Beck's been around. It shows you the age is a big factor.
Yeah, especially in college football, man. College hoops, you can occasionally get, a Kentucky of 5 one-and-dones and go win a national title. But in college football, size and strength are just such big factors. Not in college basketball, but there are so much more in football. And I think we're seeing that, and that's maybe the recipe that a lot of teams are going to try to emulate. As I saw today, the little Mendoza is transferring. He's in the portal already. But I think they're getting Hoover from TCU. They're getting a quarterback coming in. They recruited over him, so it makes sense. But what a storyline too. It's Hollywood storybook. You've got the quarterback who talks I don't know. It feels like Signetti's the type of guy who would make fun of Mendoza, right?
Nice.
He's kind of, but and maybe he does behind closed doors. But for whatever reason, they're a great marriage. This guy in interviews is he's looking at the camera. He's like a salesman. He's a pitchman. He's all over LinkedIn. My kids follow him on LinkedIn. He's always posting on LinkedIn he's this 40-year-old corporate dude. And then you have his mom's story, right? She's in a wheelchair with MS. He got his little brother bouncing around there. He's a transfer from Cal. It's a Hollywood story, and it just kind of finished off and folded in front of our eyes last night. Would have been nice had the offensive lineman not fall started there for Indiana, and they would have scored a touchdown, maybe for some other reasons there for me. But other than that, it was a good game.
Well, I think that unbelievable story, and you're right. He's kind of cheesy in some of his his Heisman interviews.
He woke up feeling cheesy.
It was just kind of whatever. But I don't know. Did you grab the clip of him dropping an F-bomb on. He was either with Holly or Molly McGrath.
I had to rewind it. Yeah,
it was a LFG, and then he talked about it in the press conference, which I thought was awesome. That's the type of content.
Is that the first time he was finally allowed to cuss? Was that it? That's his reward for winning.
Saved up all year. If we win a title, I'm gonna say a cuss word.
We've all had our kids were like, I don't know, 10 years old, and your team wins. You're all happy. You're like, all right. Yes. You're a couple pops in. You could say a cuss word one, and they get all like they grin and they'll throw out an S-bomb. Yeah, I think
it's a great story. I know the rest of the blue blood college football world, the Paul Feinbaums of the world can't.
Sign me up for no more SEC for a while, unless it's Mizzou. Sign me up.
And it hasn't been last time. I mean, you had what was it, Michigan and Washington, then you had Notre Dame, Ohio State, and then Indiana, Miami. So it was it the Georgia TCU blowout was the last time an SEC team was in it and won it? I think so, right?
Okay. Well, the how like kind of exclusive college football has been for such a long time, and the system's been set up to keep it exclusive. Indiana is the first-time national champion in college football since Florida in like 1996. It had been 30 years since we had a team win a title for the first time in program history. There's been a lot of the same blood in and out there. So sign me up for 3 different teams in 3 different years. I think it's going to be really hard to have a dynasty in college football under this current system. So.
Yeah, because there's also last year was kind of different when you look at the way NIL has been handled. After July 1st of 2025, this upcoming season will now be in a salary cap system.
Yeah.
Now, there's things that you can do to go over that salary cap, and that's where
it's like the NFL, the salary cap. It's just kind of
we'll refigure it and
void years, and we'll restructure your contract, and we can sign anybody.
A $400 million contract, but 75 is guaranteed. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Might as well say 400 billion. I mean,
all right. So along those NFL lines, I love how we started the show saying, "Hey, we're going to talk all Kansas City," and hey, college football playoff is what we talk about. But we'll bring it back home. I'm wearing my red, Greg, for Trent Green and the Hoosiers, but also it's Frankfurt. It's a Chiefs trip I took when they played out in Germany. And let's see, I think he was gone. Eric Bieniemy would have been gone then, but apparently he is coming back. Little surprised in that, felt like he left a little unceremoniously, butted heads with a lot of players, especially on the sidelines. But at the same time, not surprising. Andy Reid loves to know who you are. Doesn't like a whole lot of surprises. If you've worked with him, played with him in the past, and if he's had any close to a positive experience, he's ready to bring you back. And it appears like that's what's happening.
Well, you look around the world of coaches that have been around a long time, the longevity of their assistants. You look at Dave Tobe, you look at Bill Self. He's had, Curtis Townsend's been with him for 22 years. And we've had guys that have just been around for a long time because you want that trust. And Andy Reid obviously trusts Eric Bieniemy, and obviously the most important guy trusts. I mean, you think this deal gets done without the blessing of Patrick Mahomes? No. And so, yeah, that's the decision maker, so to speak. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited as a Chiefs fan. Sure. The only other guy that I was holding out hope for was Cliff Kingsbury. And
Cliff, I think, would have been great. It's kind of a matter of, the cat's out of the bag. This is Andy Reid's offense. He's basically in charge of the play calling. And I think for guys like Cliff Kingsbury and maybe some young up-and-comers like Nathan Shieldhouse, everybody's kind of cheering for him. Rockhurst kid, who I think is going to be a star in this league in the very near future at coordinator and then eventually head coach. That might scare some guys off. They're not going to be able to bring in their own system, call their own plays, and all that. For Bieniemy, he's able to come back. We ran the numbers Monday night on KSHB 41 Sports, how dominant this offense was for 5 years under Eric Bieniemy. For 3 of those years, they were number 1 in yards in the NFL. I think the other 2 years they were second and third. And for 2 of those years, they were number 1 in points, right? We took that for granted. I thought, like, okay, as long as Mahomes is going to be here, they're going to be the best at scoring points, at picking up yardage. They're going to be this offensive team. Since he left, their averages are 15th in yards and 17th in points.
Yeah, numbers don't.
So, I mean, listen, is it Bieniemy gone and Matt Nagy in? Or is it guys maybe getting older, the roster turning over a little bit, not as talented? I guess we'll kind of find out here. But you had Nagy as the players coach, right? And Bieniemy more as a hard-ass disciplinarian. And Patrick mentioned it last week in his interview. We need to have somebody here that holds people accountable. He said that twice. So I'll ask you, I mean, you had your players coaches back in the day. Often it's the assistant coach, right? And the head coach is kind of the guy that puts his foot down and all of that. Is there a different dynamic for a player? I feel like there's always a reason the players go to the nicer coach, the players coach, because they want that. But you probably know, I mean, you don't always need that. You don't always be coddled.
Well, I think it's hard to compare college to pro. Like my experiences would be all college, and obviously wasn't a pro. So I think you have to manage egos differently in college, and especially back in the 90s, 80s, whatever, because I use this term a lot. The most successful coaches are 3 things. They're loved, feared, and respected. And having all 3 of those things is very, very difficult to do. Bill Self's got it. Andy Reid's got it. All these, the top tiered guys have it. Like it's one thing to put the fear of God in your guys. It's another thing afterwards, put your arm over them and love them up. And then, obviously their records and their history brings the respect. But so to your question, a player's coach, you just can't always be like, hey man, let's go get some beers, talk about the playbook. You're my buddy. You gotta you gotta hold guys accountable. And you just can't always, it's kind of like parenting. You can't always be your kid's best buddy. You have to make sure that they know you're in charge or they're going to walk all over you. And in the NFL or the NBA, it's different because the coaches don't have as much power because the players
make more money than them.
So,
they're sometimes their age.
It's a difficult question to answer because of the dynamic of what I just mentioned. But the good thing for the Chiefs is you got Andy Reid up here, who everybody loves, respects, and I say feared. I don't know if they really fear him because he's such an icon in that building, but he still has that because he is, the most valuable commodity any coach has or can threaten is playing time. The way that they make more money is that they're on the field. So you fear him in that way. Like, if I don't please this guy, I ain't going to play. Therefore, I'm not getting my next contract. So, but I think the reason it really works here is that there's a history and Patrick is in charge and he obviously wanted him back. And who are we to say, get Cliff Kingsbury? Because that would have brought a whole different dynamic. And maybe
I got to push back. I mean,
gel.
I think what is it? Kingsbury and Mahomes won 7 games max in a season in college. Now I get it was Texas Tech, and they didn't have 2025 Texas Tech defense back then. But for as many points as they put up, I mean, Mahomes has been way more successful with Eric Bieniemy as his offensive coordinator.
Just run Wasp like 10 times a game,
right?
Easy. Like it's easy. We have time for Wasp.
Yeah, we got time. We got time for it. So it'd be good to see the Chiefs get back because I mean we're seeing the NFL, man. Harbaugh gone, McDermott gone, Tomlin kind of forced out. It is really not for long. It does not take long for you to fall off the perch there. And I don't think the Hunts are going to be trigger happy with Andy Reid. But you throw out another one of these 6-11 seasons, and then real questions I feel like start to get thrown out there.
But I think you're correct, 6-11. But we played in the freaking Super Bowl last year. Like, granted, got blown out. I get it, but I don't know. I think he's got a pretty long leash as he deserves.
He should. He deserves it. But
Now McDermott,
I wouldn't have thought Harbaugh would have been canned or McDermott because I mean, in all those instances, you're taking a couple steps back, right? You feel that this guy can't get it done. Although Josh Allen turned the ball over 4 times in the divisional game. One was a 15-yard fumble backwards that gave the other team 3 points right before halftime. It's so funny how it's like you go to overtime, you got to have a winner, got to have a loser. The winner is just cheered at, oh, you made all the right decisions. Look at you. Why didn't anybody else hire this guy? He's great. And the loser is just the worst coach ever. Like, he can't get it done. He's got that gene in him. He can't win. And we do it all the time in every sport. And it's so silly to me.
Not to mention that Bean, their GM, got promoted. And everyone talked about the Bills and they don't have any receivers. They haven't built this team around the best quarterback in the league, as Buffalo people say. And then the quarterback turns it over 4 or 5 times, and it's the coach's fault. And it's like, and I don't really like Sean McDermott. He seems kind of smug to me, but he's still a really good coach. And then to your point,
he is one of the few people that Andy Reid has fired, so that could be something.
Yeah, and so I was trying my best to figure out who I was rooting for in that game because obviously I hate the Broncos, and I really I think I like Josh Allen because I respect him. I think he's unbelievable, but I like the separation of Mahomes and Allen when you talk about best quarterback. So I was rooting for the Bills to lose because I like the fact that he's played in 2 AFC championships, lost them both to the Chiefs, never played in a Super Bowl, and he still has to climb that mountain. Now they're going to take a step back. It's not as easy. This isn't college football. They can't just rebuild the Bills next year. They can't get a bunch of receivers.
Well, I mean, the Bills are probably finding out what the Chiefs finally found out. It's hard drafting at the bottom of the round, the first round every single year. And that's why it's so hard to have dynasties in the NFL. And for the fact that the Chiefs kept this going, and I don't think it's over. I think it's still going. But basically, they were the best team in the AFC every single year, pretty much. Best team in the NFL almost every single year from 18 to 24. 7 seasons, right? You don't see that. It's so hard. They were able to maintain it for a while, and they'll pick 9th this year. So maybe that might change things a little bit. And the coaching staff is undergoing a little bit of an overhaul. So maybe they'll be able to get back. We've talked about segments for this show, and I've got one for today if you're ready for it.
Yes.
It's called Am I a Dipshit?
I'll answer. Okay.
I mean, that's you saying yes and us moving on. That's not the game.
Shit.
But I
don't hear that word as much. Okay, go. Let me hear it.
I feel like you can tell me what word applies to this because you're going to be embarrassed. You're going to be like, I picked this guy to do a podcast with. So I'm an AP top 25 voter, right?
What's that? What's that vetting process like? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, you wanna? The AP guy in town, Dave Scretta. Hey, you wanna? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I grew up. I bet we're the same. I mean, we grew up. I opened the paper at night. It was a newspaper back then, and it was on Tuesdays in my hometown because we got the Monday newspaper from the Wichita Eagle a day late, or we got the earliest copy, so they wouldn't have the AP Top 25 football or basketball in it till Tuesday. And wouldn't have it on TV or anything. There's no internet. So I'd open on Tuesday and look at the top 25. And that was my best moment of my week. So I thought it was really cool. Hey, 12-year-old Mick would love that, almost 50-year-old Mick is voting in top 25. So I've done it the last 2 years. I left KU out of this week's poll. Am I a dipshit? On accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we just had a week.
This segment's been brought to you by
me. What did you think I was going to say?
Yeah. But we could talk. I didn't have him in the week before, right? Because which
was fair.
Fine. Yeah, they were kind of half people had him in. They still were ranked, I believe. And then, of course, you kill Iowa State. Great showing at home against Baylor as well. They're back, and I have a whole system, and I'm write it down. I'm like the girl in Tommy Boy who won't put it in the computer. She just writes everything down, the whole system, and thinks it's screwed up. That might be me. I was going to throw them back in there at 19 because there are teams at the bottom of my poll that lost, and I just
speaking of Tommy Boy. Speaking of Tommy Boy, does Signetti look at all like Dan Aykroyd and Tommy Boy?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Zelensky.
What's his name in the show? What's his name in the movie?
Zelensky had like
Zelensky Auto Parts
shop or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Auto Parts for the working man.
That's right. But Kansas, back-to-back wins by 15.
I will adjust, by the way. I will treat them like they're the 19th ranked team in my poll this next week. I guess that's why there's 60-some voters, because sometimes people can't get their poll in. Other times they're dipshits.
Let me ask you this, though. Who did you have like 23, 24, 25?
You're not going to like this.
like Grand Canyon?
No. I got Miami, Ohio in my poll at number 25.
Okay.
They are 19-0.
Okay.
The last few I kind of reward. I have St. Louis in there, which I think St. Louis is a good team. Ken Palm likes them a lot. They're like 17-1. They got one loss to Stanford. Gun to my head, are they one of the top 25 teams in the nation? Probably not. Like a Kentucky, who I don't have ranked, or a Tennessee, I think would probably win easily. But I like to reward the teams at the bottom with.
I think the Iowa State fan base was like, "This is the best unranked team we've ever played." And Baylor probably said the same thing. Now, circumstances,
especially in the location, right at KU.
Yeah, we were an underdog last Tuesday, and those were the type of games as we're getting ready for. I'm like, these are the type of games we're going to win. Everybody's pissed off. We lost to a West Virginia team 2 days prior. That was, they just bullied us, and we didn't punch back. And so there was some soul searching, terrible timing for TJ and the Cyclones that come to town, but we needed it. They'll be fine, even though they dropped 2 last week. They lost at Cincinnati, which was
I dropped them like from 2 to 9, I think.
They're good though. They're good. I really like their team. They have the type of team that can get to a Final Four. But then, you're gonna look at their Big 12 record, and you got talked about Houston or Arizona
losses, right? At least in the Big 12. I got 2 already.
BYU. So it's a monster. It's a monster, and it's gonna be a fun year. We got get back on the road and see if we can take the show on the road that we prove that we can win at home. Comforts at home, all that. Now, can we do it? And really, we haven't had a significant road win. We've had road wins, but it's been Oklahoma State, it's been Colorado last year. Like, those were good, but we need one. So we'll get to that as we progress. But yeah, it's in a really, really long answer to your question, you are a dipshit.
Thank you very much. This segment's been brought to you by Lysol. I don't know. We have no sponsors.
Zelensky Auto Parts.
Yeah. That was it. It's funny. I found like there's some fan bases. Like the KU fan base, I haven't heard from them on that, because I feel like Blue Bloods, when they're down there below 20 or whatever around that, they don't care. To them, there's no difference between being ranked 19th and 24th, right?
Right.
To others there are, but not to the KUs of the world. But I like UConn fans, man. It is a big deal if they're ranked 3rd or 5th. I mean,
they're an angry bunch. When they've come to Lawrence twice in the last 3 or 4 years, they seem to be mad. And they be mad, be happy, whatever. The bottom line is they've been the best team consistently in the last.
Oh, sure.
So all that being said, but you could be the best team and not be like total dicks too, right? I mean, there is a path to, dick status and like just good fans. Being
Nebraska football in the 80s and 90s, they're like, oh God, they're so nice. You come there like, yes, they win 99% of their games. Yeah.
Like
That's
I
why
would
they're
think
so
I would.
nice. But
I mean,
it's better than, being the opposite when you win all your games.
I mean, when we're rolling, I mean, would like to think I'm nice all the time. I'm not like I'm more of a sarcastic shit talker.
Sure.
Like my K-State buddies that hold up we own this state. I'm like, all right, this is a really simple argument here. I can look at the lifetime records here. It's not even close. So I'm not sure where you're getting your data, and then we have good back and forth. It's not the end of the world, but like if you did that with a UConn fan, oh my God, they try to, kick your ass.
Yeah.
So they're angry. They live in Connecticut. It's fine.
It's pretty cold there. So have you seen this Big 12 ref that decided to ref a high school girls game in Kansas City?
Is that the guy that fell down?
Yeah. He's not a Big 12 ref.
I didn't know he was.
I just need a segue.
Was that in Kansas City?
That was Eudora Bonner Springs. I'm the same way. I was gone this weekend. I saw the clip and went viral. And then I found out it was right down the road.
I thought that was like, I saw that. I thought that was like, I thought it was AI.
I know. So here he is walking right over here, right into the girl. And then
I didn't know that was real.
He was down. So I don't want to make fun of somebody that's having a medical episode, obviously. I'm not a UConn fan. So, because he was down, I guess, for a couple minutes, and then he got up, and the crowd was like, do we clap? I guess. He finished the game reffing. Apparently, he reffed the next game, the boys' game. And so I'm like, that is some crazy coincidental timing if that is some sort of medical episode. He came out, he talked to Channel 5, sports reporter over there yesterday, or put out a statement saying that he has a condition and that condition occurred right there. I don't know what the condition is. Maybe it's theatrics. Maybe it's drama but it was right after he teed this girl up. And probably, watching the game, she was asking for some teas. And
I was going to say, he's not a soccer player.
He looks like he's a really good soccer player. She does kind of put her hand out there as he's walking right towards her, but it's not like a strike or a punch. And he looks down at it and then decides to fall back. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it.
Maybe LeBron. Sometimes if you
that's what people call it. They're like, LeBron's doing high school games now in Kansas.
I as I scroll through Twitter and do all this stuff, and you see some of these things, and you see like the where they're able to get like that big fat girl that jumps in the ocean, and then the boat like overturns or whatever, and it's like obviously not real, but you watch it for a second, you're like, oh, wait a minute,
yeah,
and then it's just like, oh, okay, this is AI. So I don't know when I saw that, I did not think that was actually real.
Yeah. It's funny. AI is causing me to kind of turn into my parents on like social media. I'm like, oh, is that real? I don't know. But it's harder and harder. But that was real. It's a real thing happening in Kansas City, Eudora and Bonner Springs. Looks like it's at Bonner Springs. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. But a local game.
That right there is impressive. On that little screen that you can tell me what gym it is and maybe label Bonner Springs. That is a
lower third on there.
That's a true newsman.
Well, right? Here's the deal. Who's in white? That's the home team. That's how basketball works.
But not always. That's not
in
true.
High school. It does.
Oh, okay.
I think it's at Bonner. I think Bonner's in white there. I think the girl's made from Eudora. That looks like a red and black.
Okay.
Let's go big screen. Can we go big screen, Easton? This is big. We gotta solve this. And then they don't always do it in high school, but it's Eudora Sports. Oh, it's at Eudora. I was completely wrong in my dipshit. Yes, two good teams, 7-1 apparently. So that's a Bonner Springs girl.
Well, the thing that makes me a little nervous about AI, if we're on this subject, is you get on Instagram or whatever, they're able to take like Jerry Jones's voice at a press conference, and he goes through the craziest press conference, which is 100% made
everybody.
Up. But like you're on. Your voice is out there a lot. My voice is out there a lot. Very easy to take our voices and do the same thing. And I mean, obviously it's not real, but the Jerry Jones stuff is extremely entertaining if you ever watched it. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it. They do it with everybody. They've done it with Mahomes and Kelsey and all that. And so, yeah, it would suck to be the famous person. Not really. You'd have a lot of money.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
A lot of bullshit online.
It's a good thing that you and I would be. I wouldn't even call us C-class celebrities. More, is there a D?
So we have a good friend, and she'll get me often to do just like some MC work at a barbecue or whatever here and there, and she calls me her pseudo celebrity friend. I'm like, that is the biggest compliment I've ever received.
Well, it's probably going to be the only one.
Yeah. All right. Before we get out of here, you're a big golfer. I'm a big golfer. I golfed at Lake Nona in Orlando this week. It's a British-owned club, and there are no less than 6 or 8 British LPGA and PGA members, former and current, that live there and play there. Annika Sorenstam was in the group in front of us this week. Graham McDowell, saw him in the clubhouse. Justin Rose is a member.
Local legend Gary Woodland, when he lived in Orlando, was a member there.
Used to be there. Yes. He
now lives. He went south because I think a lot of the pros like Orlando, but it's definitely different weather. So a lot of them go down to Jupiter.
It was cold one of the days we played. Charles Woodson, Brad Doherty are members there. Lou Holtz went by his old house there. He doesn't live there anymore. Apparently hit one into Annika's backyard at one point. So
what happened? Somebody lose a bet and you said, I want to go to Lake Nona. How did you, dipshit Mitch, get on Lake Nona?
My Caldwell boy, one of my best friends, lives down there and is an accountant, and he's got a membership there and takes clients there all the time. And I was a client for 3 days. A couple other guys joined us, and it was a great time. But also a member there, and he lives on the course, is Ian Poulter, maybe the most famous of all of that names thrown out there. He has 2 houses. They're right next to each other. The first house is a house. It's a mansion. It's huge. The next house is also a house, but it houses, drum roll please, all of his cars, all of his vehicles. We've got some pictures here of Ian Poulter's car house. And that is it.
He likes red.
He gets him out to breathe every now and then.
They kind of look like the same car.
There's a lot more than the red cars. And so there's lifts in the house that take him from the first story to the second story. And it's on hole 18, I believe. And we get out and we just start staring. He's like, there's the house. I'm staring through all the windows. You can see all these cars. And at some point, he walks out and just gives us a wave. Like, hey, Ian Poulter, that's great for you. But it was a great course. They're playing the LPGA Tour event there in 2 weeks, the 31st, roughly, that weekend. So they already had the grandstands up for seating and all that stuff. And so it'll be fun to see these ladies, I don't know, outscore me by like 1 or 2 strokes every single hole.
It is cool to do that. I've played a couple courses right before the U.S. Open, like Pebble Beach, right before the U.S. Open.
You play from the tips when you do it?
No, but they have the tees set up, and you're like at Pebble Beach on 17, we played on the other side of the road, but you see where the pros hit from, and you're like, because it's one of the hardest holes, weird green or whatever, but it's kind of fun. We did the same thing in Melbourne, Royal Melbourne, before the President's Cup, and it's fun. It'll be fun for you to like watch that event and be like, all right, I hit it out of bounds on that hole.
Yeah.
Had a hole in one on. Yes.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Those are fun when you get to kind of envision what they actually play.
Well, I think what was it? Leif Lysick is the best golfer I know. He's scratch in town here, and he played Bethpage right before an Open, I believe. Yep. And he's like, we're playing from the tips. We're gonna do it. But then you get to the tips and you look 30 yards back, and that's where the temporary tee box for the pros are gonna play. And so they had grown out the rough, U.S. Open rough already. And he said, basically, you get in the rough at all, you're taking wedge and you're taking your medicine and punching out. And so he is scratch in town, and he said he made a putt on 18 for an 89. Like that's crazy.
No, I mean, these guys, the pros, like we have it at Blue Hills in Kansas City, we have the Corn Fair event, which is, soon to be the best golfers on the PGA Tour. A lot of guys have graduated up, and so we get to watch them dominate a course that we think is really hard.
Yeah.
And they just toy with it. And the same thing with Bethpage or Lake Nona or whatever. It's just different. And so it's fun when you get to watch them do it, and then you get to go play it. And I played, Southern Hills with a +4, and he was ecstatic that he shot an 81.
Really?
And it was in the middle of July. It was hotter than hell. Ground was hard, and 81 for a guy that should. Yeah.
I'll tell people all the time. The great basketball players and football players out there, I can wrap my arms around how they're good. I'm like, okay, you got a 44-inch vert. Okay, you're 6'6", or you can run a 4.44. I get it, right? I get how you're great. I don't get how good those golfers are, the PGA guys. I cannot, fathom how they can do what they do.
Well, it used to be the long hitters were guys like my size, and they would just muscle it or whatever. Now, have you ever met Justin Thomas? He's
tiny.
Like the scrawniest,
the shorter you are, the taller you are to your size, there's so many more ways for your swing to break down, right? The same with pitching, like Randy Johnson. There's so many more mechanics that can go wrong as opposed to the short guys. And
equipment and technology has obviously made a big difference, but it's whatever they do from here to here. That's just different. They're not all cocking back and John Daly in it, because if they did that, they might hit it 450 yards. But John Rahm, he brings it to here,
right here,
and just I don't know. I watch all these guys, and I'm like, well, it shouldn't be that difficult, but it is.
It is very much so. All right. Anything else you want to do before we get out of here?
I don't think so. Looking forward to the NFL playoffs. Looking forward to games on Sunday. It'll be a good week. I love this time of year. College basketball.
It's first free January I've had in a long time.
That's true. I saw Josh Klingler the other day, and he said the same thing. He's like, I don't know, I'm doing myself. I've been for the last 6 years, I've worked,
hopefully
all of January.
Hopefully, all these sound NFL fans out there, if there are any, are watching the playoffs and realizing, okay, every game has controversial calls. Every game has gray area calls. Every game has bad calls. And it's not just the Chiefs games that have them. But I doubt it.
What drives me nuts is now it's the Bills fan that think this is big conspiracy because they're in the small market. But they talk out of both sides of their mouth, because the large Kansas City market is what the NFL, I guess, is like.
Yeah. I think they're the sixth smallest market in the NFL.
Now they're all about Denver, I guess, because
obviously.
Denver's big, but the interception. I got in an argument with our basketball coaches last night, which we argue about stuff all the time, and neither one of us know anything about football. But if the defender wasn't there and he goes down and he hits the ground and the ball pops out,
nobody's arguing catch.
Nobody's arguing catch. But the second he touches the ground, the other guy gets it.
Yeah, it's not a catch. If you watch football and you have a non-biased brain, that is an interception. It's just an interception.
And I get Sean McDermott standing up for his city and his team.
Yeah.
He got to.
They didn't stand up for him.
He was probably getting fired anyway, so he's like, screw it. But God, the being around sports like you and I are on a daily basis, for people to think that there's this big conspiracy that hundreds of people have concealed in order to get the one team that's playing against your team to win makes absolutely no sense. Why would anyone risk their jobs or their livelihood to mess with a system to make a certain team win? It just does not make sense. And it's not happening. So get that out of your head. you stupid fan that lives in your mom's basement and tweets and Instagrams and does whatever they do. How's that?
I'd love to go live in my mom's basement. Life would be so much easier.
I don't think she would like that.
Nah, she'd love it. I don't care to me. All right, Greg, let's do this again sometime. How about next week?
Well, let's do it. Good time.
What's the sign off we're going to do? What's the sign off? Like, you stay classy.
Do I don't know. We got fountains. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe we'll think about that. I don't know. I don't want to throw anything out because then we got to go with it.
Yeah,
if it's
true.
And
we're going to be doing thousands of these episodes, so.
Thousands. Okay. Perfect.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Sponsors.
See you next time.